Europe in awe. Princess Leonor's lavished 2025 wedding becomes Spain's most emotional royal moment. The bells of Copenhagen echoed across Europe. Soft, solemn, and unforgettable. It wasn't just the sound of a royal wedding, it was the heartbeat of a continent watching a young princess step into destiny. Millions tuned in. Spain held its breath. Denmark shimmered with pride. But no one expected what would follow. Because this wasn't just a royal wedding. It was an emotional awakening, Spain's most touching royal moment in modern history. From the first glimpse of Princess Leonor stepping out of her carriage, time seemed to pause. Draped in an ivory gown embroidered with gold threads that shimmered like morning light, she looked every inch the future queen, but also, a young woman in love, humbled by the gravity of the moment. Her eyes met Prince Christian's, and for a brief second, the world disappeared. Cameras caught the tear that formed at the corner of her eye, an unplanned, human moment that instantly became iconic. Europe was captivated. This was not pomp and ceremony. This was raw, pure emotion wrapped in centuries of royal tradition. Behind the elegance lay something deeper, a story of love, duty, and the powerful bond between two nations. The wedding took place in Copenhagen's Grand Cathedral, where history seemed to breathe through every stone. Spanish roses lined the aisles, their scent mingling with the soft perfume of Danish lilacs, a delicate blend symbolizing the union of two royal bloodlines. The choir's harmony filled the cathedral, each note echoing through marble and memory. Queen Letizia, her eyes glistening, whispered something to King Felipe as Leonor approached the altar. Her father's face, normally poised and regal, softened with pride and melancholy. The image of a king watching his daughter, his heir, marry into another royal house was a moment Spain will never forget. What made this wedding so powerful wasn't the luxury, it was the sincerity. Despite the diamond tiaras, the gold embroidery, and the historical setting, it was the emotion that defined the day. Leonor's vow was short, trembling, and true. With love and with faith, I promise my heart. Christian's reply, steady but emotional, echoed through the hall. And with honor and devotion, I promise mine. The silence that followed felt sacred. Even the cameras dared not move. The world watched, but it was Spain that felt it most. In every home, in every cafe, people whispered her name. Leonor, the princess who had grown up before their eyes, was now a bride, a symbol of continuity, hope, and love. Outside, thousands gathered in the streets of Copenhagen waving Spanish and Danish flags side by side. It wasn't just a royal spectacle. It was a moment of unity. Europe, often divided by politics and history, shared in one emotion, wonder. After the ceremony, the newlyweds emerged onto the cathedral steps. The crowd erupted. Leonor's veil fluttered in the breeze like a royal banner of light. Cameras flashed, but it was the smiles, the unguarded, genuine smiles, that defined that moment. The royal carriage ride through the streets became an unforgettable procession. Gold accents gleamed under the Danish sun. Children threw petals into the air. Elderly women cried. And as Leonor waved, her eyes met the crowd, not as a distant monarch, but as someone deeply connected to the people. Back in Spain, plazas overflowed. Massive screens broadcast every second. Church bells rang from Madrid to Barcelona. Elderly citizens who had watched King Felipe's own wedding decades earlier wiped tears from their eyes. They had seen a new era begin. The reception in the Amalienburg Palace was equally breathtaking. Tables draped in silk, chandeliers casting soft reflections. Across centuries-old portraits. But again, it wasn't the opulence that mattered. It was the atmosphere. Joyful, heartfelt, almost intimate despite the grandeur. When Leonor gave her toast, the room fell silent. Today, she said softly, I marry not only the man I love, but I also unite two families, two nations, and countless hearts who have believed in love, even when the world changes. That single sentence became the headline across Europe. Leonor, the princess who spoke from the heart. Fashion houses immediately began sketching gowns inspired by her look. Designers called it the Leonor silhouette, a perfect harmony of tradition and modern grace. Bridal boutiques from Madrid to London saw a surge of requests for the royal style. But beyond trends, Leonor had done something greater. She had reminded people of elegance rooted in sincerity. Behind the palace walls, moments of tenderness unfolded unseen by cameras. King Felipe embraced his daughter for a long time before the evening dance. He whispered, "You have made Spain proud." Queen Letizia later told aides she had never felt such bittersweet joy, seeing her daughter step into womanhood while still seeing the child she once held. The first dance began under a ceiling of stars projected across the ballroom. Leonor and Christian moved gracefully, not as monarchs-to-be, but as two young souls beginning their shared life. Guests watched in silence. Even seasoned royals, those who had attended countless galas, felt the genuine emotion ripple through the hall. Then came the symbolic gesture that touched everyone. At the height of the night, Leonor removed her gloves and handed them to her younger sister, Sophia, smiling with tears in her eyes. A gesture of sisterhood, of passing on grace, of shared legacy. Sophia's eyes welled up. Cameras caught the exact moment, two sisters, united by love and duty, surrounded by history. As dawn approached, the palace gardens glowed softly with candlelight. The air was still. Leonor, now Princess of Denmark and future Queen of Spain, stood at the balcony beside her husband. The city below slept, unaware of how deeply this wedding had already imprinted itself on hearts around the world. For weeks, newspapers couldn't stop writing. Analysts spoke of diplomacy, historians of legacy, but ordinary people spoke of emotion. Of authenticity. Of love that felt real amidst royal grandeur. Spain called it, el momento del corazón real, the royal moment of the heart. Because this wedding wasn't about crowns or treaties. It was about the shared humanity beneath them. It was about a daughter making her parents proud. A young woman embracing her future. A continent remembering what it feels like to believe in something beautiful. And in that beauty, Princess Leonor didn't just become a bride, she became a symbol. Of renewal. Of unity. Of the future of royalty itself. From Madrid to Copenhagen, from London to Oslo, the story was the same. The wedding had changed something subtle yet profound. The world saw a new kind of monarchy, not distant, but deeply human. Not cold, but glowing with authenticity. And so, as Europe watched the final carriage disappear into the Copenhagen dusk, one truth became clear. Princess Leonor's 2025 wedding didn't just move a nation. It moved an entire generation. Because sometimes, amidst centuries of formality and grandeur, all it takes is one sincere smile, one heartfelt vow, and one unforgettable day, to remind the world that royalty still has the power to make us feel.